How's it, Owens? Noob Master here, back again with Almera build. Will be part 3. Basically what I'll be doing here is testing the polarity, making sure that from factory positive is positive and negative is negative, and then also testing out my ohms, and then after that I'll be talking about the box I'll be using, the 6th order bandpass. And then basically this will also be the build of the bandpass itself. Over here now I've got a 9-volt battery. This is now to check the polarity of the subwoofer to make sure it's wired right from factory. Okay, the bigger post is negative and then the smaller post is positive on the battery. But obviously on the driver side, the bigger side is positive and the smaller side is negative. So when I connect the two together, the positive, negative to negative, the drivers should then move up and stay up because it's DC, it's not AC. So, and if I do it vice versa, then obviously the driver must suck in instead of going up. Okay, so right now the positive, like I said, is on this side and the positive of the driver's side. So as I touch it, you'll see it. See, it goes up, and that shows that it's wired right from the factory. And if I turn it opposite direction, you can see it sucks in, or it goes down. So I know that from factory this thing is wired right, so I don't have to worry about phase issues and all that stuff. Now this will be the ohms test of the subwoofer. From the manufacturer side, they claim that it's going to be 4 ohms, but like a reputable company like JBL, Kicker and all those other guys, Orion and them, yeah, look, those guys don't kind of make those mistakes. So very good possibility that this will be a 4 ohm load. But you know, testing is the best thing, you know, just to make sure, because sometimes even with the polarity test, you might find that everything is vice versa. Positive is the opposite side of negative. So just to make sure that it's right. But you know, like I say, these guys don't make those kind of mistakes. So what I'm gonna do is, for now, I have to touch the leads on my multimeter to kind of get a reading of the wires themselves. Okay, I'm looking at about 0.4, 0.5 a variance there. So what I will do is I will obviously connect, doesn't matter whether positive or negative, doesn't really matter. I just want a reading, a ohms reading on the multimeter, and then take the 0.5 and just minus that from that. So the main thing is to get as close as possible to 4 ohms. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna now touch. As you guys can see, I don't know if you can see clearly, but I'm getting exactly 4 on this thing here. So let me just, because sometimes the wire is, these cables in it are flimsy sometimes, you know, with bending and all that stuff. So okay, I'm getting 4 on the dot. Okay, 3.94, then I must minus that 0.4. So this thing is basically, you can say it's 4 ohms. I would say about 3.5, 3.6. So it's definitely a 4 ohm load. So I'm happy with this. Alright, now I'll be measuring the cutout diameter of this driver. According to the manufacturers, it's 178.4, I think. Let me just make sure of that. Yes, it is 178.4. But you know, just to make sure and check, like I said, these guys don't really make those kind of mistakes. they make sure of what they put there is what you're basically gonna get. Hence the other tests as well, with the ohms and the polarity. Okay, so what I've got here is two 90-degree angle rulers, and what I'm gonna try and now do is let me just organize another one here. Just hold. I got a better 90-degree angle ruler. The other one is more of a, when you want to mark, it's not actually a ruler itself. So I got two of these. So like I said, as I stated before, what the manufacturer is stating that the cutout is 178.4. Let me just make sure again. Sorry about this. Yeah, 178.4, the cutout. So what I'm going to do is, now I'm just going to basically try and line it up. The magnet. Okay. Just get this out of the way here. On the magnet side. Okay. So basically it's that and that. Okay, so what I'm getting here is 170, we can say 177, which is basically, it's accurate enough. I'm not actually holding it fully at the right angle, so yeah, it's basically 177, 178. So basically I will be going according to their cutout diameter, which is a 178.4. So as always, these guys, like I said, as stated before, they don't necessarily make those kind of mistakes, so it's pretty accurate. Okay, now what actually happened is my camera died, so I just put it on charge, but instead of now waiting for the camera to get somewhat of power, I just decided to cut the circle for this driver. And the method of cutting, what I used is I used the jigsaw. Okay, over here there's plenty of options to actually cut the circle. I've got the jigsaw and I've got the small handheld router. Can even use that, but for me I feel the jigsaw is a bit quicker and easier for me. And the method I used to actually do the circle, it's a method that I actually learned from EXO's videos. Okay, so basically what I did there is, you can see the two screws there. So what I do is, obviously I measure the radius and then basically just go around and round and round. And the other tools when working with MDF, especially MDF, is this here, the dust mask. This here is one of those requirements. It's non-negotiable, especially working with MDF. And the other thing in my jig, where is it now? I took it off and I left it somewhere now. Is basically the eye goggles. Okay, there's it there. There's it there. Got it. It's basically these eye goggles that don't mist up. Okay. Safety first, guys. When you do these kind of things, safety first. Even this cutting using a jigsaw, safety first. You make sure and double, triple make sure that wherever you're cutting, it's steady. But yeah, so far so good. Looking good, looking good. I like. Okay, now I want to be talking about why I chose this particular 6th order bandpass parallel series. Okay, why not, for argument's sake, sealed? Okay, with the sealed, this is a 4-channel amp, which is only really going to be able to push out about 200 watts. And now building a sealed, depends on how I build a sealed. Do I build it for more lows or do I build it for a little bit more highs? Depending on that build as well, It's the one main factor about the sealed would be it's gonna need a lot. It's gonna need a lot of power to move the driver, seeing it's in a sealed enclosure. So, and it's not efficient at all. So I'm taking an efficient driver and I'm putting it in an inefficient enclosure. So that was a big no-no because of the 4-channel. Okay, why not the ported or the vented? Okay, the ported and the vented would be a better option from the sealed. Then obviously there's a whole thing of tuning. Okay, it will be better, it will be more efficient, but I won't get the maximum output that I would desire from this with a 4-channel. And if I tune it or I build a box a certain size, it's like a balancing act. If I build it too big, I might lose out on the low end, on the high end, sorry. If I build it too small, then I will lose out on the low end unless I tune it as low as possible, but then the port and the width and all, it would be a ridiculous length. And on top of that, then I have to now worry about port noise. So the vented, I looked at that as well and said, nah, you know what, I'm gonna skip on the vented. Okay, fourth order was one of the options that I was actually gonna opt for. The EBP of this driver is a bit high. I think it's in the 128. So you know, this is where it comes down to now. What people would say, you know, a lot of people would say, you know, if it's too high and what, you know, it's not good for a fourth. Okay, but the way sometimes the people word their words is they're actually talking in the sense of it's impossible to put it into a fourth order, and that's not the case. You can put that driver in a fourth order. It is possible, you can put it in, but obviously it won't be better in a fourth order. There's other drivers that would perform better, but you'll still get a performance out of it in a fourth order. So it's not written in stone that you cannot put it in a fourth order. You can. It's just now obviously you just weigh your options and you decide maybe, okay, for now, because it's a client and that, I would then rather opt for the next enclosure that I'm actually looking at now is a 6th order bandpass, which is now basically I am getting both worlds, both in terms of with the sealed, that lows of the sealed if you build it big, and also I'm getting the highs as well. Also with the 4th order, make no mistake, the 4th order can also do that. It's just now obviously because of the EBP being too high, I'm gonna have more of a mountain, I can say mountain slope type of response, you know, instead of more trying to be flattened down. So whereas now with the 6th order bandpass, I'm getting that where I can actually like kind of steadily slope it down, you know. And the nice thing about the 6th order bandpass is that it's very efficient. It's more efficient than the vented and the ported by far. It's way more efficient, and then I'll get more output out of it, which is ideal now for this 4-channel. So even the fourth is also more efficient than the ported and the slot on the vented. But depending on how you build it, obviously that ratio and it depends how you build it as well, but it is more efficient. And then the 6th order is even more efficient than the 4th, and even more windier. But now obviously this setup will be running not as much power. As I've stated, I'll be gunning for, depending on the deck, how far can I push it, but I'm hoping to get 120 watts. I might get away with 100 watts, but I'll see on that one there. So yeah, this one here is the better option. Maximum output for the little amount of power I'm using. Very efficient box, and then an efficient driver is going into it. It's a no-brainer on this one here. That's why I picked this. So now up next it will then be the build itself. Update on the build right now. I've done the The most difficult part of this now is just the corners, and then the two ports here on the side here. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to basically on this one end here, I'm gonna put I'm gonna think about it, either acrylic chalk or I'm gonna use silicone. And then on the other side, on the other end, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna maybe put wood filler. So this is to make sure and to ensure that there's no leaks whatsoever. The two chambers are separate from each other, and I'll be doing the rest of the box. I'll be doing either with acrylic chalk or silicone, but this one here will be the wood filler, just to be sure that I do separate the two. But as it is here, I mean, the wood glue itself will separate, and obviously screwing it in here, that also will separate it. But you know, just to be safe and just to be sure, I will do so. But yeah, it's coming on nice. I should be done very quickly because the rest now is just, you know, in and that's it, screw in and that's it, done. And then obviously then it will be the driver, and then comes the testing side. Sub is in. Very nice, very nice. I like what I see here. And I wanted to make a U-turn on my wiring. I've actually got I think 210-meter CCA cables, speaker cables that I can use. They're fairly thick, but now I couldn't find the one that was actually open, so I just opted with the original plan of using the copper one. Okay, as you can see here, this baby is gonna be nice banging. It's gonna bang very, very nicely. Now all this short now is basically 3 pieces, 4 in total. Basically the port here for the highs, and then closing off the port here for the lows, and then this one here, and then that's done. And then obviously the top, and then I'll be basically ready to do some tests on this thing. So for now, because it's a bit late, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually just start putting wood filler and acrylic chalk all around the base and the upper parts here, like over here, and that, you know. And then just let it obviously sit overnight, and I know that is done. And then tomorrow then I can attend to the last 3 pieces, top on, and then I can just do a little test run just with the top on, not fastened, just to hear how it performs, how it sounds. And then from there, the following day, depending on time, the following day, then I'll just commit and I will basically bolt down the top, and then that'll be it. So on the next video, which will be basically the last part, it'll be the box. I'll just show a little glimpse and pieces of the box, semi-complete without the top on, if I do remember. And then it'll be basically the test, and then after that it'll be the install. That'll be basically on the next video. Base on, guys, base on. Noob Master out. Okay, the update on this build right now as it stands. Over here, as I stated, that I will actually use wood filler to basically separate this chamber from that other chamber. So this will be for the highs, and then that one will be for the lows. And at the back I did use acrylic cork or chalk to actually seal that. So all I have to now do is just remove whatever like the leftover or excess, or I don't know how to pronounce that now. But whatever's is left off here, like powderish and whatever, and just clean it out of it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna now insert obviously the last 3 pieces, and then that's it for the build. And then testing time. So right now here, like I said, always there's options. There's always options. I can either use these screw-on terminals, or I can use the traditional, the normal plastic ones, or I can just feed it straight. So like I said, it's always options. Doesn't mean that you have to think one side and then, okay, yeah, this here. Sometimes this here is actually more problematic, if you know what I mean, in terms of just having a straight wire from the driver to the amp. So this here will be basically optional. I think I'm just gonna basically just put a straight wire through, then to actually now do extra holes and bigger holes and compromise the enclosure, the especially on the seal side, because everything will come from the seal side, and then have to re-seal it and all that stuff. So it's gonna be a bit of extra work, whereas I just feed it through with a wire. But yeah, okay, so that's it for now. I'm going to basically just finish up this here, and then I'm gonna just run a couple of tests and then bolt it down and then do proper tests, and then it'll be the install.